the telly.
Yeah.
And before the cup final,
Cheers.
Yeah, good health. Before the cup final, they had people could ring in to see a cup final. Yeah.
You alright?
Yeah, we're all right. We're fine. I don't think we're going to stay here long. It's going to be too
It's
hot.
getting warm, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're too hot,
Yeah.
you get carried away and you won't think to ask. You just know.
Well, I'm quite happy in the. I like the sun anyway.
Yeah, I like the sun too, but I must admit I don't like too much sun. Well, first of all, what time have you got today?
Well, really, I want to aim to be back at Blackheath by about 2:30 at the latest.
Do you?
Really, 2:30 to 3.
We've got a lot of time.
So yeah, but we could always. I mean, if it goes well, and if you wanted to, we could always meet up again.
Well, as I say, we could really get down for hours, really.
Well,
Lots of
I'd love to.
If you're interested in sport, to give you a small example, Vi and I have just got back, well not just got back, but in February we got back from Australia and New Zealand.
Yes,
We went out on a cricket tour. Did I tell you that?
Well, you
on the
mentioned
phone?
that you met Mickey Stewart, and it was
That's
in the,
right.
in the
Right.
mail when you got
Well,
back.
so I mean, things like that. And I've got some photos there. I've got nearly 300 photos of that month's holiday. But I've picked out about a couple of dozen that I'm sure would interest you.
Oh,
From a sport point of view.
Yes.
Things like that. I mean, we could go on for. But I don't want to go on too much if you're a bit restricted on time.
Well,
and,
as I say, I
want
mean,
to,
I mean, I'd be quite happy to come down again.
Yeah,
I mean, if it goes well.
well, it's handy to come down here.
Because
From the point of view of what I've got and what,
everything's here. Yes.
and it's it's day
Well,
out for you too, isn't it? Oh, you can't wish for anything better, really.
Yeah. So I mean, I said Thursday morning originally
Yes,
because that's the time when I've actually got devoted each week to actually working on this.
I see.
But of course, I've always
You've
got,
got other
I've always got
projects,
weekends.
have you?
Well, I'm working as well, you see, for Age Exchange, so I've got responsibilities there, which I think this is very much something that's just it's mine.
Yeah.
Well, it's mine, and everyone else is involved with it with me.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But,
You are genuinely interested in sport.
Oh
no doubt.
yes. I mean, ever since I was. I mean, unfortunately, I don't play very much now. I don't play any team games anymore. But I mean, I still play a lot of squash and tennis and swimming. But I was playing tennis on Sunday actually.
Yes, yeah.
And I
I don't know how people can live without sport, really,
No.
to be quite honest. But we're all different.
Did you see that Holland-Germany game?
Yes,
Was
yes.
the second half a cracker, eh?
Yeah, that was a good game. And compared with the Russian
night.
one, that wasn't
Dreadful,
quite so
wasn't it?
good, was it? Well, it wasn't anywhere near so good. But I don't know. I don't think we've got it, have we? There's not much doubt about that.
No.
They all seem so much better than us.
That's right. Have a look at those. That's rather sad.
Yes. Oh yeah. I think it was about this time last year. We went up and we had some friends down. And, we took from a little run round and we finished up at Greenwich Park and we popped down to the barrier, the Thames barrier, because I hadn't seen it. It was quite interesting. I didn't realise it was just the other side of the road from the valley. I just didn't know.
It's very close.
I knew it was in that vicinity, but I didn't know it was as close as that.
Yeah, it's quite.
So of course
huge when you actually go down there, isn't it?
we just popped over and sort of had from the outside.
It's all locked up. I mean, I actually went in. It was all open in April.
Yeah.
A lot of it's.
This bloke Glixton, I remember him coming in the. You got the tape on?
Yeah, it's running.
Have you?
Yeah. It doesn't make a sound.
I can remember him coming in the dressing room with his uncles.
This is Michael, is it?
Yeah, the one now. I remember him coming in when he was a little boy.
What was he like then?
Well, I don't remember. He was only about 12, 10 or 12. He was only a little lad.
Did he behave himself?
As far as I know. No, it was just before a game anyhow, you wouldn't take too much notice, but I just remember him coming in the dressing room.
It's a terrible shame, isn't it? Because Albert and his brother, what's his brother's name?
What?
The two brothers.
Stanley
and Albert.
Albert and Stanley. Albert was the chairman and Stanley was the... Yeah.
Because they were so good for the club.
Oh, they were the club, weren't they? That's what it was all about.
Their son more or less almost destroyed the club in the 80s. The boardroom, in fact, is the least vandalised of all the rooms because
Is
it's
it?
absolutely pitch black in there. It's got a
Yeah.
very, very good flash on my camera.
You went down and took these, did
Yes,
you?
yeah, I took those.
It's a bit ironic that the only two league clubs I played for was Charlton and Crystal Palace. It's strange, isn't it?
It is.
The only two I transferred to Crystal Palace for £2,500
Did you really?
in 2 instalments.
And what did you get out of that?
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
I got my accrued share of benefit, which was about 3 years, at reserve team rate as well, because in that time I didn't play in the first team very little, latter years for Charlton. Yes.
It's in a terrible, terrible state down there.
Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing?
I mean, some people think it'd just be a matter of digging up the weeds, but it's not that simple at all. The whole place is wrecked.
I
Absolutely
mean, that
wrecked.
brand new Jimmy Seed stand at one end. This is the end.
This is the Jimmy Seed stand.
Oh, at this end, is
yeah,
it?
it's
Yeah.
taken from there. That's the newest one.
And that's all seeded in the end, was it? The other stand?
Yeah, that was covered a bit earlier on. You've got the grandstand down the side.
Well, it
here.
always was covered, that.
That was seated, yeah, changed from terrace into
Yeah.
seating. In the early 70s, during the 70s, I think.
And the dressing rooms must be that side then.
The
Oh,
bank, no, the bank is up here, and the
Right,
grandstand is down
yeah,
that
I
side.
see it now. Yeah,
It's up on the bank. It's completely overgrown. You've got trees growing on there now. Here's the grandstand.
it's his favourite spot down there in the shade. They're good photos, aren't they?
Yeah, they come out very nicely. It's a shame that was rather.
I
rather sad
remember
to see
the
it.
very first floodlit game I ever played in wasn't at Charlton. It was Crystal Palace. We went down to Hastings. You need the torch to carry around yourself. It was terrible.
They're not very powerful,
in comparison, of course, I suppose it wasn't too bad then. You could see, I suppose, but when you compare it with the sophisticated lighting now,
Yeah, because Charlton were in fact one of the last league clubs or top clubs to have floodlights installed, weren't they? 1961. Well, it's amazing. I was just wandering around down there and I found all the club receipts, day-to-day business receipts from seasons 60 to 63, just lying in a big pile. And you would have thought things like that they would have taken with them. And there were transfer receipts, and then the receipt for the floodlights was there as well. All sorts of things.
It doesn't seem all that long ago. I don't know how long ago it was now when I went down to that, when I was invited down on that Manchester City match. I got the programme where they did the profile of the old players.
I haven't seen that.
Haven't you?
No,
I've got
seen
that. I've got mine. In fact, I've got several of them.
How long ago was that?
About 5 years, 6 years ago. It must have been about a year before they moved. Oh, I've got it all.
Because the last game at the Valley they invited some people down.
Yeah, well, I was invited down, but I missed it. I was on holiday.
Did you?
Yeah, we were away that time. Yes, I was sorry I missed that.
The toilets. And then we're in the dressing rooms now. Bath. But someone set fire to the home dressing room.
Yeah, it's terrible. As you say, a bit sad.
Very sad.
Oh, this is the mic, is it?
That's the mic, yes.
Yes.
It's the Lawrence streak of lightning.
Yeah, I remember that.
When did you actually retire from playing full time?
Well, I turned full circle actually. I was born in Essex, Leytonstone, so I'm an Essex cricket fan before I am Kent. I know I've lived in Kent for 57 years I've lived in Kent. I was 10 when I went to live at Margate. Yes, went to live at Margate when I was 10, and then played for Margate schoolboys about 1932, I suppose, when I was 12. While I was playing for Margate schoolboys, I played for Kent schoolboys.
Yeah.
And we toured Durham when I was 14.
That's been quite exciting.
Played at Roker Park when I was 14 years of age.
Oh, wonderful.
We lost 5-0. Yeah, that was Margate. That was my school career, really. I was very, very small, very little, small built. When I left school at 14, I don't think I didn't play football for at least one season, because it was all grown-up men then playing outside of school, wasn't it? But I eventually played for my old school, and then my dad was on the turnstiles at Margate, and it was the time when Margate was Arsenal's nursery.
Yeah, I thought Northfleet and Gravesend were.
No,
it's Tottenham's nursery.
That was Tottenham's nursery.
Tottenham's, yeah.
And Margate were Arsenal's nursery, and Jack Lambert, the old centre forward of the 1930s of the famous Arsenal forward line of Hume, David Jack Lambert, Alec James, and Cliff Bastin.
Yeah.
Anyhow, Jack Lambert was the manager down there, and I went along there in the evenings and for a bit of coaching and training with Jack Lambert. You know, young lads were encouraged to do. So I went along there and I found myself in the and won the 2 trial games, and I played for Margate. Actually, there was only 2 of us, local boys, and all the other 20 odd youngsters down there were all sent down from Highbury.
Really?
It was only myself and a chap named Vic Pilcher. And I played in the Margate first team straight away.
So which league were you playing in?
That was Kent League then. And I think they'd been the nursery down there for 3 or 4 years. And it was a time when Margate did, well, the 2 previous years, Margate had done well in the FA Cup.
What round have they got to?
Oh, they got to the 3rd round.
Did they really?
They beat Queen's Park Rangers, and they beat Crystal Palace, and they lost eventually at Blackpool that particular year. But because they were the Arsenal nursery, the FA said, "Oh no, we can't have any of this." You know, all the lads were on Arsenal's books, you see. So literally, Arsenal had 2 teams in the FA Cup. So they stopped all nursery teams from partaking in the FA Cup. But I think I had about 10 games in the first team, and then I at centre forward.
If you're a small lad, has to be.
Well, I suppose I was building up a little bit. But we played Erith one game. I always remember it. We played Erith and Belvedere, and I got tackled and went up in the air, came down on my shoulder and broke my collarbone. And that, touch wood, well, it's a bit late to touch wood now, I know, but it was the only real mishap I had in the whole career, really.
You're very lucky.
Yeah, I was exceptionally lucky.
So many players just plagued by injuries.
I did miss half a season soon after. Well, the very next season, I think, when I pulled a thigh muscle badly when I was playing at Canterbury Waverley then. But that, strangely enough, that mishap with my collarbone turned me into an outside right. The first game I had after I came back, Jack Lambert put me out on the right wing, and I stayed there pretty well for the rest of my football career.
So, how did you eventually get involved with Charlton?
Right, that's a good question. I was talking about when the war broke out. The war broke out, and the first year of the war, there wasn't a lot of football for the first year. And by that time, I only had one season at Margate under Jack Lambert because Arsenal packed the nursery up as well. Nothing to do with the war, I don't think, but the war coincided with the beginning of that next season.
Yeah. So
I went back to Margate, and the morning war was declared, and we played at Maidstone in the Kent League, and I think we drew 1-1. But then, of course, from that day, and I would be 19 then. I never kicked a ball till about 43. 19, 20, 21, 22. 3 years, I never kicked a ball. Strange, isn't it?
So really,
and that first year we had a bit of Kent League football in the early days, because the first part of the war, nothing happened much.
War,
it was they called it the phony war, as you probably know. And so there was a bit of football played in Kent, and I played for Margate. We had the odd games, and we played Erith. Coming up at Erith again, we played Erith, and there was 3 brothers playing for us, which came up from the Medway towns playing for Margate. They were the Duhigg brothers, 3, Les, Bob, and Frank.
Duhigg.
Duhigg. D-U-H-I-G. Duhigg. I think Bob had played for Grimsby, and Les Duhigg, I'd played in Kent with Kent schoolboys, so we were about the same age. But this game finished, and I've been working for heating engineers down at Margate during the war, when I left school, in the office of a heating engineer down there. And nothing happened at Margate when the war broke out, and gradually, but by the February I got the sack because of no work, you know. So I was sort of biding my time, and I was on the dole, only for about 3 months, but I was on the dole, and I was waiting to get called up. You know, I was due for call up, 19, and next, as the age groups come along, I was just waiting to be called up. And I always remember it. I said to Bob at the end of this match, I was drying myself down, standing on the bench, I said, Bob, any jobs going up your way, Bob? Tied me over, I said, I'm waiting to get called up. I've been to night school, I've done some drawing and draftsman and that, a bit of a draftsman, and so I said, well, all right, up into Shorts at Rochester, we all work up there, you know, just right in. So I wrote in there, and before you know where I was, I got a job in the Jig and Tool drawing office. I hadn't got a clue what it was, but jig was a dance as far as I was concerned. And reserved occupation, just like that. Gosh. It's amazing, isn't it? How your life.
So you actually never got called.
Never got called up. How your life transforms in a. I don't know. It's just fate. In fact, I'm looking through all me cuttings.
Yeah.
While you're looking them all out, I haven't got them in organised yet. And I came across 3 newspaper cuttings of schoolboy friends of mine who I played about with soon after I left school. You always got mates, haven't you? And 3 of those lads were killed. Oh. Amazing, isn't it? Just looking at it just a little while ago.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
it was a real quirk of fate, wasn't it? You know, it was a real quirk of fate.
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah. So after 2 or 3 years, about obviously 43, we got to 43, and I had a few games with. I think the odd game for Shorts, one of the Shorts teams, I think. And a pal of mine who I was working with, he was playing centre half for Gravesend. And he said, well, why don't you come up there? So I went up there, and it was a funny setup there. It was great, really. I had about 2 seasons there, I suppose. And they had 2 teams. They had a team playing an amateur league in London, during the war this was, and the team in the Kent League, which they sort of termed a professional team, you know. I wasn't a professional.
No.
And there was always a bit of a battle as to which team I should play for, you know. Anyhow, I had played for Gravesend, and we had 1 or 2 games against Charlton Rovers,
which was the junior team, wasn't it?
which was the junior team
Jimmy
during
C.
the war.
founded, yeah.
And the chap who ran it was Bert Moss. Bill Moss.
Bill Moss.
Is that name cropped up?
Rings a vague bell.
Right.
Rings a vague bell. So there's a couple of chaps I've met who were connected with Charlton Rovers or played for them.
Well,
so.
Bill, I think his name was Bill Moss, and he was in charge of this Charlton Rovers team. And he must have mentioned Jimmy Seed and that, and eventually I got a letter from Jimmy, or got in touch with me, and would I go up and have a game at Charlton? And that very first game, I don't know whether Charlie Revel's ever told you about this or remembers it, but we played Luton Town, and we won, I think it was 9-2 or 9-3 we won at the Valley, and I played outside right. The very first game, Charlton, and I didn't get a goal, but I think Charlie got about 4 or 5, and he remembers it.
Yeah, he did mention the story. He said he remembered one time when he saw you, he was just chatting and he mentioned you, and he said, he said he saw you at the training ground, I think.
That's right, yeah.
And he said he hadn't seen you since the day he banged in 9 and 3 were disallowed.
That's right, yeah.
And he actually scored 6.
That's right. Well, and so obviously I had a good game.
Yeah.
And
so who was in the team with you in that first team?
I can't remember now. I just can't remember. Well, I'm sure I've got the cutting there.
Would that have been 43? 44?
I think it would be 40. 5-6 was the cup final year. Well, it could have been 1944. It could have been 44-45. I would think, because I didn't start playing again until 43, 44.
Yeah.
So within 2 years of me playing again, I was playing for Charlton. I reckon it was in 44, sometime in 44.
Had you kept yourself fit in the meantime when you hadn't been playing?
Not particularly, no. No, not particularly. Not when you say keep fit, no. I don't suppose I did anything really. I was, part of that time I was travelling up from Margate to Rochester every day, you know. I can't remember. I can't remember much. Well, the war years. I mean, Medway Towns was reasonably didn't get blitzed, you know, and that sort of thing. Had a few bombs, but didn't get blitzed. It was a bit of a mystery of the war. That was why he never blitzed Chatham. He did Plymouth. He did Portsmouth. He did. Well, you know a bit about the war, no doubt. All the places that got blitzed, London and that. But for some reason or other, the Medway Towns never really got it.
Strange, isn't it?
Yeah. But I was in digs up here after the first couple of years during the wartime. And then when I started playing for Gravesend, I got digs in Gravesend. But I had a good those couple of years in Gravesend during the war was very, very good. We played at what's called the Central Ground now, not where Gravesend and Northfleet play. It was up in near King's Farm Estate, up the back of Gravesend.
I don't know Gravesend very much.
So I started playing for Charlton, and then the following year, of course, we had the good run. And
so were you a regular in the first team?
Yeah, I was regular in the first team for at least 2 seasons. And then, of course, the war finished, you see. I carried on working. There was full-time pros about as well. And so I went down the old, I don't say my speed went down, but I wasn't the player I was, so I openly admit that.
Did you actually sign full professional?
I signed pro for Charlton only about 3 months 2 or 3 months before the cup final. Peter Croker and I, well, I think we signed together. He was an amateur. But, yeah, I only signed pro just a month or two before the cup final.
Because Peter Croker missed the final, didn't he?
Yeah, he broke his leg. Yeah, broke his leg.
He was in the following year. Though.
Yeah, he was in the following year.
So because I've actually had a chat with him.
Have you?
Yeah, he's living in Bexley Heath.
Yes.
And he was saying, of course, I timed it just right. If I was going to get injured, that's perfect. I was there for a winner's medal the following year.
Yeah, too true. Yeah. Well, there's an interesting story about our cup final. I don't know whether anyone's told it to you yet, but I'm one of the few players that's got 2 medals for playing in one cup final.
How did he manage that? I haven't heard this.
You haven't heard it, right? Well, I've got a write-up about it as well. What happened was, the first year after the war, which was 46, there was only 1 set of gold medals available. And the winners obviously got them. And we had a replica bronze medal in the proper case. Replica presented to us by the present Queen Mother. And well, the proper gold one came along about 6 or 8 months afterwards.
So the whole team ended up getting
the whole of that particular team finished up by getting 2 medals for playing in one cup final, which is quite an interesting story.
Yeah. Well, it's not the monetary value that's important, is it? No,
it actually cost me quite a few quid to play in that cup final, out of pocket. Well, out of pocket. Well, we had about 100 tickets, which we had to pay for, except for 2 complimentaries, I think. And naturally, with the family and the parents and the girlfriend at the time, I think, and I let them have the best seats, and they pay. I treated them obviously. And all the others I had, I let go people at work and all that. Face value is none of this business that goes on nowadays. At face value, so it cost me money. It was well out of pocket. So I didn't think about it at the time. Last thing you'd think about then.
So what would have been your wages when you first signed professional?
£10 a week.
And that's winter. What about the summer?
8.
Yeah.
10 and 8. Yeah. And then it went to 12 and 10 after a couple of years.
Were there any bonuses to be had?
Yeah, £2 for a win, £1 for a draw.
And what about the cup final?
Didn't get 8p for that.
Not a thing.
Not a thing. The winners got 25 quid.
Yeah, what, between them or each?
No, each. I think they got it £25 each, I think. But we didn't get a halfpenny.
You didn't get
not a halfpenny. No, just £12 week wages. That's all that week.
It's such a far cry from today, isn't it? I mean, do you wish you were a player today, or you?
Well, it's hypothetical,
really.
Yes,
completely hypothetical.
Yes,
I know.
all I know is that we wouldn't live for 2 minutes now. The way we used to, as soon as they receive the ball, woof, they're in, aren't they? Nowadays, you've got time to think hardly, have you?
Very tight on them. But then again, when you think about the gear that you used to wear, and that ball you used to have to kick around on the wet, muddy day.
It's most strange, with that little bit of film that I never finished off telling you the story of that, did I?
No.
Right, it was the first year of people ringing up to David Coleman or to BBC saying, I'd like to see this cup final, right? And what happened was, the very first person that rang wanted to see the Stanley Matthews Cup final, which they went through the turntable and found it and put it on, you see. And the next one was a young lad from Faversham, nearer than that, Sittingbourne, and he was only about 13 or 14, and he wanted to see the Derby County and Charlton Cup final. And I'd only just bought a video, just a matter of months. I only just bought one. and dashed round and set it all up, and sure enough they found it and it came up on video, and I can see myself on it 3 times. And on no occasion have I got the ball.
Well, I can remember, because I don't know if it's the same bit of film, but everyone being introduced to whoever the royalty was,
Yes,
the Queen,
yeah.
wasn't it the Queen?
Well, at the presentation at the beginning, it was it was King George VI, the Queen Mother's husband.
Yeah, the King was there as well.
Yeah, because I've got the photos of that. Yeah.
And so I noticed you there, and it's probably the same, exactly the same.
It's probably the same.
Because it was edited right down for the
Anyhow,
Israel.
let's finish off the story on the. As I say, saw myself 3 times in each. But what was most noticeable about that game was the several shots there of our lads in midfield walking towards one of their players to tackle them. I'm not exaggerating. They were absolutely just strolling along to make the tackle. I couldn't believe it. When you've been used to watching the present day stuff, to see that.
And it makes you wonder. I mean, it is such a different game today.
I mean, there's no such thing as a
formation
winner now, is there,
tactics,
as such?
No, I mean,
In fact, I think there was one centre came across on that game last night.
Yeah,
and they remarked about it, about the old times when you could reckon on about 10 of those in the first 10 minutes, you know, in a match, you know. They did literally, they remarked about it, whoever was commentating last night.
I don't know if it's the same film, I don't know if it's the 46 one or the 47 one, but Sailor Brown makes a fantastic run.
Chris
around.
Duffy? You don't
No, Chris Duffy's run, that's
semi-final at Bolton.
No, it's the final. This is one of the finals.
Was it?
No,
well,
it's one of the finals.
This one was a great, the second goal, because we won 2-0 here, didn't we? I think we won 2-0, 2-0. And I think Don Welsh scored. I centred for the first goal.
2-0.
And Don Welsh, I think Don put it in. But the second goal was a great goal. Chris came all the length of the field.
Oh, I've heard of this as well.
That was a great goal, that was. Yeah, for 2-0.
There's a bit of a tragedy involved with Chris, wasn't there? And he was involved in a bombing in Bangor.
Did he?
He was running a hotel, and in Ireland. Went back to Ireland, and he was. At first, people were China thought he'd actually been blown up and died, but in fact, what happened? Peter Croker told me that he was standing at the bar chatting to 2 friends or 2 people. A bomb went off. They both died. He received very serious injuries, but actually survived. But then he died 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh, Lord, I never knew that. I didn't know anything about that.
What a tragedy! Absolute tragedy.
There's a lot of those lads who've died. A lot of them.
Some of them died very young, haven't they?
Yeah.
So
But Gordon Nurse was apparently the most tragic one. You took over from me.
I haven't heard about what happened to him.
Yeah, well, I say the most tragic. He was the most ill. Apparently he had a terrible death, Gordon. Peter seems to get to hear a lot of things that we don't. And he knew all about poor old Gordon. Was Gordon Nurse married Margate girl, strangely enough, who I knew by name.
Did he?
Yeah. Oh, Gordon, yes, he had a bad death. And Bert Turner, I kept in touch with him quite a bit. He had a pub down at Manston Aerodrome, Manston Village, down at Manston, between Margate and Ramsgate. I've heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard of Manston.
And I used to often pop down there and have a drink and see Bert, but he died about 5 or 6 years ago, I suppose now. Jack Shreve, he died, didn't he?
He died, yeah. He was, in fact, one of the chaps who comes down to our Thursday mornings. Jack was his next door neighbour after he retired. He was running a tobacconist, wasn't he, in Charlton?
Jack Shreve, was he?
Yeah, and I think he died on the morning of the World Cup final, '66.
Did he? As I was talking about these poor lads dying, there's a story about Sam. On 2 occasions, people at work rang me up, and the first occasion was to say that my photos in the 100th Centenary Cup final programme.
Which was 72, wasn't it? The Leeds Arsenal one. Is that the one?
Oh no, it's more recent than that. 82.
82.
I've got it there. And sure enough, I got hold of it. And this chap had been up to the previous week. He'd been up to the the Rugby League Cup final, and they were selling programmes for the following Saturday. And he opened it, and then he spotted me shaking hands with the Queen Mother. You know, I mean, here we are, 30 odd, 40, nearly 40 years gap of all the people who had shaken hands with the, you know, royalty and all that. Of all those years, and they go back to the 46 one with me shaking. It's incredible, isn't it? I couldn't believe it. But anyhow, there it was. Anyhow, what I'm coming to, the second time that someone rang up and said, "Dear Les, in the Sunday People, which is what Sam Bartram used to, he was a reporter in the Sunday People, he says there's a little write-up there at the weekend saying would old Charlton players like to get in touch with the club because they're opening the new Jimmy Seed stand." So I rang up, and I think Benny Fenton was publicity manager, publicity bloke there then. So I rang up, and then sure enough, yeah, come along and all the rest of it. Now, the Saturday before, this was going to be on the Tuesday, the Saturday before, I had an invitation down, because from work I had a lot of invitations to sporting events, and this particular one was at the Open Championship Golf at Sandwich. Now, I've never been to an Open Championship, or I've never been to golf thing at all. Anyhow, I was tootling along there, all on my own, driving the car, and I was approaching Manston, not far from Manston, on the way to Pegwell Bay to Sandwich, and the 11 o'clock news came on. And the announcement was that towards the end of the news, Sam Bartram died last night. Now, I was all set to see him for the first time since I'd left the club on the following Tuesday, and he died on his way home at North London somewhere, outside the tube station or something.
Because he was very young, he was only about early 60s, wasn't he, when he died?
No.
Was he?
No. Oh no.
Was he older than that?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, his age.
His age.
Oh yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you're quite right. But it was probably about 10 years ago. I don't know. Whenever the Jimmy Seed
He died in 81. It was 81.
Did he? Well, that's when they opened the Jimmy Seed stand then.
Yeah.
That's it. A couple of days before then.
Yeah.
So there's another coincidence, if you like.
But then again, there's the other John Oakes. You played with John Oakes, didn't you?
Now, John Oakes was the oldest centre-half to play in a cup, oldest player to play in a cup final at one time. 43 when he played centre-half in our cup final.
Well, did I tell you that he's moved back to he's living in Australia for some time? Apparently he's back in the country.
Ah, yeah, you told me that over the phone.
And he's living down in Northfleet or Gravesend.
Is he?
But he's late 80s now.
Yeah.
And according to Peter Croker again, he seems to have his ears
yes,
to the grapevine.
Yeah, he gets to hear about things, doesn't he?
He's still game for anything. It's marvellous catch. I'd love to get, but I haven't been able to trace his address just
You
yet.
haven't traced it? Well, I'll be interested to know where he is. John, I never had. Well, he packed up soon after, I think. And I don't know.
He wasn't playing 47, was he?
No, I think he packed up. That was the end of that cup final. Was his last game, I should think, almost. But there's a lot of the poor lads have gone.
Yes. So I'm saying, it seems so many of them have gone very young.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Bert Johnson, I would like to meet up with again. He was a nice chap. He was very tied up with Leicester City.
Yeah.
I had an interesting exercise not so long ago, actually. We just got back. Well, it's the weekend after we got back from Australia and New Zealand, and we took him round the field. There's a field near here where we take him every morning, and it was a nice morning. I was walking around the field. Charlton were playing at Highbury, and that afternoon, it was Saturday morning, that afternoon, and I said to Vi all of a sudden, I said, I'd like to go to Highbury this afternoon. And I had two things at the back of my mind. One was obviously to see Charlton,
Yeah.
and the other one was to try and locate an old player that I'd played with in the very early days when I was only 17 or 18 at Margate, and the chap's name was Alf Fields, centre half. And I knew he was about, and in fact there'd been a charity game here at Gillingham, and I don't go to Gillingham a lot, I go 2 or 3 times a season perhaps. And there was a charity game, and all the managers were playing. George Graham for the Zeebrugge disaster fund.
Yeah.
The back end of last season, season before last. And as they come off the field, the kids were crowding around them all for autographs. John Hollins was playing, and all the Frank McClintock, and they were all playing there. And George Graham was playing, and all that, you know.
Yeah.
And as he came off, I said to George Graham, I said, is Alf Fields still with you? He said, well, he's around. He said, but he's semi-retired. And I left it at that. I never followed up any conversation. So, anyhow, I come back. I rang up Derek Afton, because I got his phone number, and I said, well, I'd go to Highbury. No, I spoke to his wife, that's right, he was out. I said, I'd like to go to Highbury this afternoon. Perhaps he could get me a ticket, you know, if I come up. So she said, okay, I'll let him know. So I makes my way up to Highbury, and saw the commissioner there. I said, is Derek Afton arrived yet? So he said, no, he isn't here yet, he said. I said, only I'm an ex-Charlton player. I said, oh, he said, are you his guest? I said, well, yeah, more or less, I'm an ex-Charlton player. I'd like to see him. So he said, oh, we'll come in. He said, what name is it? So I said, Les Fell. Bloody hell, he says, I remember you, you know. An old commissioner on Charlton Square, at Highbury, you know.
Yeah.
I can always remember my very first game at Highbury, first time I ever went in the dressing room where the tiles were heated, which you stood on, you know, at Highbury. And then I said to this commissioner chap, I said, is Alf Fields about it today? So he says, no, he says, but he's with the A team. He said, they'll be back here about 2:30. So he says, I'll tell him you're here. I said, no, don't tell him, just let me know when he...
Yeah.
Anyhow, he turns up, and I points to him, and I got a photo out of me, which I've got, of the Margate team at that time. I got the photo out, and he came over to me. I hadn't seen him since I was 17.
Yeah.
50 odd years since I'd seen him. And I recognised him, grey haired and all the rest of it. And obviously he didn't place me, but I pointed out to him. I said, there you are. He says, bloody hell, yeah. I said, there's me down there, Les Fell. God, yeah. Amazing, isn't it? Now, he's been at Charlton, been at Highbury all those years, and I think he had about 3 games for their first team, and he got a knee injury. And he's been working on the staff at Highbury ever since then. So there's a lot of loyalty goes on here.
Yeah.
So
Well, because there's a lot of loyalty to the Arsenal just down in the Woolwich area as well.
Yes,
because
of
even
course.
now, even today, I mean, there's still a lot of people travelling up to Highbury.
Yes.
And did you ever go and see Charlton play before you ever joined them?
No.
You'd never seen
Don't
them
think I
play?
ever did. No. Well, I would be playing, wouldn't I, really, I suppose, unless I was a young lad.
Did you play any League Cup games against the Arsenal for the first team?
Oh, yeah.
There must have been
Yeah,
huge
in fact, I've
crowds.
just found some programs of them.
Have you?
I've got a program almost of cutting in nearly every game I ever played in.
Have you?
But they're not in a...
In
I've
order.
managed to get them into more or less a yearly envelope,
Yeah.
and that's now, I've been retired nearly 3 years now, and I haven't even got near to looking at them. The time flies by.
It does. It does go quicker.
It really does. It's incredible.
So, what was the biggest crowd you would have played before at the Valley?
Oh, at the Valley, yeah, 60, 70, must be.
Is that
Yeah, we had some great crowds. I've got some photos there of, you can't see the opposite the stand, what do you call it?
The bank.
The bank, you call it the bank, yeah.
the Spine Club.
Well, you couldn't see a space there, full of people.
Yeah. There's,
Oh yes.
so there's something in the 30s and 40s when their average gate was something in excess of 40,000.
Yes, yeah. If I can go back to this little story I'm telling you about when I went to Highbury a couple of months ago. Derek got me a pro ticket, obviously, so I went and sat up in the stand in the director's box, more or less, not with them. And I sat next to a chap, and it was about 5 minutes before the kick-off. And I just said to him, making conversation, you know, what's your connections with the club? Oh, he says, I'm from Derby County. He said, Charlton are playing up there next week. He says, I'll come along to have a little look. So I said, I played in the cup final against your lads. So he says, what position? So I says, outside right, no such thing now. He said, Lesfell. And you know, he rattled off both those teams, both Charlton's and just like that. Isn't that incredible?
What was he? Was he scouting? Was he?
Yes, and what he did, all he did, he had a bit of paper, and on this bit of paper was loads of goal mouths, all sketched in, you know, the goal and the penalty area. And he was putting dots on, and every set piece that Charlton had towards the Arsenal goal, he recorded.
Yeah.
That's all he did.
Wow.
He didn't have many.
They got a draw out of it, didn't they? They drew 1-1, didn't they?
No, they lost 4-0.
Yeah, but when they played Derby the following week or whenever it was, they got one.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they also have it.
Yeah, but now that's all he. Isn't that amazing? That's all he was doing. He was sitting there taking notes of the corners and free kicks around the Arsenal. There weren't a lot, obviously, because Arsenal were on top most of the game.
They had quite a nice run there towards the end of the season.
Oh yeah.
They only got beaten a couple of times, didn't they?
Yeah.
Liverpool and Arsenal.
Yeah.
They drew it a lot of times, but you're comparing their relative. I mean, at the halfway stage in the season, they were 7 points. They were 10 points below Chelsea in the table, on the bottom of the table,
low down,
about 3 or 4 points adrift.
Yeah.
They pulled it all back. Now they ended up 7 points clear of the bottom three clubs.
Did they in the end? Yeah, they.
Mind you, there's just 3 points through in business.
Yeah, it makes a difference, doesn't it?
It does.
You
I mean,
win
you
a
get teams just
couple of
shooting up and
games.
down.
You win a couple of games.
Could we have a look at a few of your?
Yes. You
squads?
can let's see what we got. And from us two as working as a wing, you know,
working together.
Working together. We had some great games.
Yeah.
And he hasn't altered. Right. He lives over in Grays, Essex. Yeah. Now that's Bill Robinson.
Oh, Bill Robinson.
He's an outside right now. He's living locally.
Is he?
Yeah.
Are you in contact with them?
No, I've got no contact with him, but he just happened to be around when when I got my camera out and took the photos. But that's Bill Robinson, and there was a George Robinson as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Who Eddie Fermani married his daughter.
That's right. You were telling me something about this, I think, or someone's
Someone
mentioning
else
this.
probably mentioned it. Yeah.
Didn't? Because he got married twice, didn't he, Eddie Fermani?
I don't know.
And his first wife was the sister of a Charlton player, and his second wife was the wife of a Charlton player. I think that's.
I wouldn't know.
But he's in New York now, apparently.
He definitely married George Robinson's daughter.
There's some dirty business going on there somewhere.
Because I slept in her bed once. I slept in her bed once.
What happened?
But not with her. No, we were coming home obviously late, because I lived in the Medway. I think I was living here in the Medway Towns then. It was one of our reserve games, because George was assistant manager for quite a while, and he came to our reserve games obviously. And probably we got back late on coach. We went everywhere by coach, and we got back late, and I stayed with him for the night. Stayed with his
sister was out.
Yeah, I didn't see it. That's the open day of the
training ground.
Of the training ground. Not as much of, but that is the open.
They've got lovely facilities down there.
Yeah,
now,
yeah. Now, a little while ago, in fact, where my wife has her hair done, the someone who'd been a Red Hot Charlton supporter had an attaché case full of Charlton programmes. Absolutely chock-a-block full.
Is that the hairdressers?
At the hairdressers, yeah. Well, it's a private house now.
Yeah.
And he hadn't got any use for them, so he gave them to me. And I'll show it to you. But it's absolutely chock-a-block full. It's all 1962, 1, 2, 3, something like that. Over in the seasons, you know, players' eyes don't know. Now, that
Colin's flashback.
These
series.
are the
Yeah, I know Colin.
Yeah. Well, you haven't seen this.
No, I haven't seen the one.
Well, I mean that little right up there tells you everything you want to know about me as far as Charlton are concerned. Really, in a nutshell, you see.
What was your relationship with Jimmy Seed? How did you get on with him?
Very well. All the time I was playing well. But you see, now being part-time, I literally only saw him on match days, really. But I did have... what happened was I worked for Schultz on aircraft all during the war, which is all there.
Yeah.
And then when they left, I worked for the firm that took over one of their factories. But they nearly went west. And in 1949, I got the sack. I was a one-off. I was a sort of plant layout draftsman, all on my own. Anyhow, they nearly went under, and I got the sack. And then I went to Charlton. I was so lucky, you know.
Yeah.
I went to Charlton and went and saw Jimmy C. He says, yeah, it's all right, you come full-time. So I was only playing for the reserves, and for two and a half seasons, I was full-time at Charlton. And then this firm got busy again, and they asked me to go back. So I went back in '53, and stayed there for the rest of my working life. So, you know, I was so lucky, really, how my life's worked out. And so I did experience the life of a full-time professional for a couple of seasons. But by and large, I didn't have too much to do with Jimmy. No. He didn't mix a lot with the lads. Jimmy C. He's not like the present-day managers, you know. I mean, they're all out there in the tracksuits and all. Most of them are on the go with them all the time, aren't they?
That's right.
But you didn't see a lot of Jimmy.
Because one of the things that both Charlie and Georgie Green have said about Jimmy, that he was as tight as anything. To get anything out of him, if he was paying you 2 and 6 for something, if he was paying you 2 bob for something, he'd give you half a crown and hold out his hand for 6 months change.
Yeah. Well, you know, you got what you were entitled to, just.
Yeah.
I mean, I never got 8 anymore. I got my £10 signing on fee when I was a professional, when I signed pro, I think. You imagine what they get there, don't you?
But when you look back over Jimmy's career as the manager at Charlton, his transfer dealings for a start, he made a huge profit.
Of course he did, he did very well. I mean, he got me and Peter for nothing, obviously.
I mean,
it cost him a halfpenny.
His biggest buy would have been, what, Don Welsh? It was about 2,000, 3,000 from Torquay in the 30s.
But as I say, he didn't. I didn't cost him anything, and he got £2,500 after 8 years' service. And he's just.
He did quite well there.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Colin actually is he's writing an A to Z.
Is he?
Of all the players that ever played for Charlton.
Is he?
There's something like 490 odd who played peacetime first team football for Charlton, and he knows it all.
We'd be interested to get hold of these booklets. You know, I mean, now when I started doing that, that's my whole career there, really. From right from my age. Incredible, isn't it, when you look at it all.
Oh, you got on some tours as well?
Yes, yeah. One of the best grounds I played on, I would think, was Benfica's ground at Lisbon.
What was that?
I always
like?
remember that. It's cut out the side of on the side of a hill. It's sort of scalloped out, you know, and three sides were it's different now, I think. 3 sides were just concrete seating going right round, you know, and it goes up in tiers. No stands then. But I think it's altered a lot now.
And was that with the first team that you went out on tour?
Yes, yeah, we lost 1-0 then. We just had the one game in Lisbon. Played a couple of times. I went to Brussels with the London FA, London Football Association. I've got some old newspapers of that.
I think the Valley was the best ground.
Yeah, by a long way.
Yeah.
By a long way. It seemed to be just right. Lovely for a winger, you know. In fact, I'd say
You felt you had the space, did you?
Yeah, well, the West Hams and the Queen's Park Rangers and all those, you were tight,
Enclosed,
right?
Yeah.
Chelsea,
Too much space.
You know, you had the Graham track all the way around the
Yeah,
outside, or Speedway track, whatever it was. And Charlton was just right, just right. Lovely ground.
Was it 78 first team matches you played? 78?
Yeah.
18 goals.
Yeah, it's not a lot really, is it?
Well, it was at 300 total first team and reserve.
Yeah.
That's a fair few. I mean, it's pretty regular over, say, 8 years there. Is that including wartime, that 300?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it'd be all the games I did play for Charlton.
It's quite respectable, 300 games and 60 goals.
Eh?
It's quite respectable, 300 games and 60 goals.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, so very lucky lad. That's the one you've probably seen.
No, I haven't seen
Have
this
you seen
one.
that one?
No.
Well, that's the one that was in the. I'll show you. We've got it here in a minute. We come to it.
That's marvellous. How did you feel when you
Now
stepped
that
out onto
was-
that turf?
Eh?
How did you feel when you stepped out onto the Wembley turf?
Well, 42 years ago, so it makes a bit of memory, but well, it's a bit I wouldn't say overawed at all. I don't think I was all
You used
that
to play before
nervous.
big crowds, weren't you?
We were then, weren't we? Yeah. It wasn't the build-up to it that was then. I did have a week off work before we went. I played on Sundridge Park Golf Course with Jimmy Seed as his partner. But I'm no golfer.
Don Welsh got his collar turned up.
Yeah,
Did he always do that?
can't remember.
It was quite an even match, wasn't it? The 90
Yes,
minutes.
we had extra time, but I think generally we felt that we didn't play our normal game. I can vividly remember Jimmy Seed telling Don Welsh and Albert Brown to hold back on Doherty and Carter, you know,
Yeah.
which didn't help us. But that's an interesting one. Someone sent me that after I moved to Palace. That was. Now, obviously, that photo, the negative's been turned the wrong way around for that photo, because no way would I pose for
your left foot.
with my left foot. Although my left foot wasn't as bad as some left foots,
Yeah.
because I played outside left a few times. But if I was posing, which that was a posed photograph,
Yeah.
no way would I be kicking with my left.
Would
So
it be
if
right?
you look at that up to the sun, you'll see that it's a right-footed
Yeah.
effort. That's something of interest. This is Crystal Palace against Torquay United, right? That's Roy Bailey, who is the father of Gary Bailey, who's just stopped playing for Manchester United.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that is Les Devonshire, who's the father of
Alan Devonshire.
Alan Devonshire of West Ham. Right?
Well.
They're the two, their fathers.
Mm.
I had a son, Alan, I've still got a son, Alan, but he's not.
Did he ever play?
No, he's not into football. But he played a bit of everything. He's sport-minded, but you know. That's the second one. That's the one I never played in. That's how I do at the Cafe Royal.
Yeah. Yeah, I read the reports in the Kentish Times. This do.
That's Whitstable. That's nothing there of interest to you. Nothing there of interest to you on that one.
What was the atmosphere between the first and the reserve teams like at Charlton? Or between the
Oh, it was
players
very
and
good.
Very good
Very
relationship.
good. Never heard of any. Never recall of any animosity in any shape or form. Not what I can remember it. But again, most of the time I would only see the lads on match days in any case, you see.
Yeah.
But well, these are all old programs. I've got thousands of them, so it's not much. There's good Malcolm Allison, as you know.
Yes,
I mean,
Malcolm
you could
Allison,
write a lot about him, couldn't you? From Charlton. There's Malcolm. There's Ted.
Ted Croker, yeah.
Peter.
Polly
Derek
Kirsten.
Afton. You know, so all the names that are in that one.
Polly Kirsten, some of the supporters.
He's a bloody lad, he was.
They haven't got many good stories, things to say about him as a player.
No. Well, they said the same about Eddie Fermani. Poor old Eddie. I mean, he finished up an Italian international, didn't he? Played for Italy, didn't he?
Did he play
As an international?
Did he? I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
I know he spent some time in Italy.
I'm sure he did. And
Before coming back to
he
manage
had
it,
one of
to
the
manage
top
Charlton.
names, but I can always remember his first game there. We all stood at the side there laughing our heads off. But it just shows you, doesn't it?
What about Polly Kirsten? You were about to say something about him.
He was a smashing colleague, if you know what. I can always remember we went on a reserve game of Bristol or somewhere like that, and he made us laugh for some reason or other, some silly little thing. I expect it was. And I can honestly say that from the time we left to the time we got at the ground, we were laughing our flipping heads off. Never stopped laughing. That's my vivid recollection of Polly. I don't remember much about him playing, but I can remember him being a bit of a comedian. And I mean, we even had Alec Hurd laughing his head off. Now that was an achievement because Alec was a dry old stick, and you know, great chap. You know, assistant
died
trainer.
recently.
Yeah, fairly recently.
He was
Yeah,
still living up in Blackheath.
yes,
Yeah,
old
I
Alec
think he was in his
Hurd.
80s.
Yeah. Yeah, smashing.
Lewis coaches have taken you to your away matches.
Yes, Lewis is, and they're still running, aren't they?
Yeah, well, Charlie's just retired. Charlie Lewis.
There's a little snippet there. As I say, you could spend weeks and weeks here, right?
That's a lovely little story.
Yeah, that's when this little write-up of the 2 cup final medals and the fact that I was in the programme, that particular, I think I'll come to the programme.
Oh
later
yeah,
on.
yeah. That's the photograph under there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just a photo of it. Yeah, there's a photo of the bank.
God, look at that crowd. People standing right up on the top.
Yeah.
Up here.
Now that was when, on their way to the cup final, that was against Brentford. I think we won about 4-1 that afternoon. We'd drawn there, I think we won 4-1 there. 5-0, something like that.
Who was playing centre forward that day?
No, Arthur Turner,
Mm-hmm.
who played in the cup final.
Yeah.
That's Arthur Turner. I just put it across and he was...
Oh, that's lovely. Because towards the end they closed the bank down, didn't they?
Yes.
The capacity was cut and
Yeah.
it was down to about 20,000. It's lovely.
That's
sight,
me
that
running
is.
down the wing at Villa Park in our cup semi-final. That's in this
Oh
game.
yes, it's a good spot. Yeah.
That's in this game. That
Yeah.
is.
That's strange crowd. They've got the
Yes,
walkways
yeah.
then,
Villa Park.
That's a huge terracing as well, isn't it? That is
Yes. Yeah.
enormous.
That's when we played West Ham. That was Dick Walker, an old West Ham centre half.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is an eye opener. This one. This is our cup final. Our cup final sit down at the Cafe Royal.
Mm-hmm. It's 47.
47. That's Malcolm Allison.
Okay, you're young. Is he still wearing he's wearing an army jacket?
Uniform. That was my first wife. So I lost my wife. 63. I lost my first wife. Now who we got here? Eddie Marsh, goalkeeper. Heard of Eddie Marsh?
Yes, Eddie Marsh, yeah.
Eric Lancelot.
Yeah. Stanley or Albert?
No,
It's
neither.
not. Neither.
Neither. That's Mr. Laws. No, I can't remember now. Don Welsh,
Don Welsh, yeah.
Albert Brown, Bert Turner, Charlie Revel,
Oh yeah.
Bill Whittaker,
Mm-hmm.
Frank Rist,
Mm-hmm.
Albert Glickstein, Brooke Hurst, chairman of the FA at one
Oh
time,
yeah. Yeah.
Stanley Rouse,
Yeah.
that's Stanley Glickstein, Jimmy Seed, Dr. Montgomery, heard about him?
Oh yes, yes. It's a woman I was chatting to, and he stopped and picked her up one day when they were walking up, amongst all the crowd.
Yeah,
Gave her and her mate a lift in his car
yes.
up to the valley.
And all these are.
I've had, in the research I've been doing, just from off the top of people's heads, we've had nearly 200 players' names
Have you?
mentioned.
Yeah,
That's just players, but lots of other names of people associated with the club as well.
Yeah,
And it's fantastic.
fantastic.
How
Yeah.
people can actually, they can. There's one chap who's 84 who was at the first Wembley Cup final in 23, and because Charlton had a good cup run that year and they lost to Bolton in the quarter-finals, and there was a disputed goal because a lot of people on the terracing behind the goal all came down or fell down. And there's about 3 or 4 chaps that mentioned a specific incident against Bolton in 1923 where Charlton should have had a goal. Oh, Goodman had that ball in the net, but the referee was distracted by the crowd all falling down.
That's right, yeah. Well, 23 was when Bolton got to the cup final.
They won
against
in the
West
end.
Ham.
They beat West Ham 2-0
Yeah,
at the cup
remember
final,
that,
and they lost to Charlton lost to them in the quarter final.
Yeah.
That's a lovely picture.
Now, yeah, there's some more photos at the back there that we'll probably pick out. There's Ted Croker,
Mm-hmm.
and that's Peter, and that's Maurice Tadman.
Mm-hmm. What's
There's
this?
Sam Bartram.
Oh, yeah.
And there's John Oakes.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen this in daylight before. It makes a lot of difference when you see something in daylight. There's Jock Walls. Harold Hobbis.
Yeah. Can't mistake his face,
Broke
can
his
you?
leg, didn't he?
That's right. That was 38 he broke his leg, wasn't it, against Villa in that second replay. That's when they had their record crowd down at the Valley, 75,000.
That's right. Yeah, that's Bill Moss. He's the chappie that was responsible for me playing for Charlie.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Bill Moss. In fact, I'll mention it. Yeah, that's interesting, that. That's the day I signed for Crystal Palace.
Mm-hmm.
In the office there with George. That's George Robinson,
Mm-hmm.
the assistant manager at the time.
Yeah.
Edwards is the secretary of Crystal Palace.
So how many years were you with them?
Oh, I was only about. Laurie Scott was the manager. I was only there about 2 years.
Mm.
Yeah, we had. I started off very well. Good first season. But the second season, I went down a lot quicker than I went up, which is very normal. That's a letter from the Queen Mother. Right? When that photo came out, I dropped a line to the Queen Mother actually. That was interesting.
She took the time to
Now,
reply
whether
to
you're
you.
interested in reading that.
Mm.
That's required.
That's nice.
That's the letter, and again as a result of that photo, and that, I dropped that. I sent that letter to Ted.
This is to
Ted Croker.
He's retired now, isn't he?
He's about to retire because he just had an operation.
Yeah, so it's heard he hasn't been very well. Well, that was not influential in getting it in there. Yeah. Nice one there.
Yes, they're all nice to look back on, aren't they? But there's a photo in here I hope I've got, which will be of interest to you. That's in the local. They got it. It's typical write-ups in the paper where they get it wrong.
What have they got wrong there?
Cut pay took shine off medals. Now I never said that. In other words, I got 2 medals for playing in one cup final, but I mentioned the fact that I didn't. But they get the complete.
Yeah, they just twist.
In other words, I'm having a go because I didn't Can't win, can you?
Can't at all.
Let's just put those down there. This is Colin Cameron writing to me for all this.
Just saw the address.
Yeah, this is all this bump where that was all the build up to that. So whatever's in there is there.
I think I've seen this one.
You've probably seen a lot of these. I'm just hoping that I've got the a photo.
Oh no, I haven't seen this one. I've seen some of Sir Jordan's other ones.
Oh, I've got.
I like it, don't they? They're very good as cartoons.
Eh?
They're quite good as cartoons.
Yeah. It's amazing. I don't remember having that. Seeing that. This is all the build up to the final.
46 final, yeah.
That's where they invited me to the last game.
Oh, the valley, yeah.
In the valley.
So you still follow both Charlton's and Palace's results, do you?
Yes. Oh yeah, of course.
They'll be the first ones that you turn to.
Yeah. That's in the sports, so it's a bit of a sprinter, needless to say. I was playing football. I was playing cricket right up until my eyesight went about 10 years ago, I suppose.
You're playing for a local
Yeah,
club?
just local. There's one of our little.
Oh yes, yeah.
Well, you've seen that one.
Well, Charlie was talking about this table.
Yeah.
With the pitch marked out on it. These two.
Was Sam, Ellis, Stuart Leary, Eddie Marsh. Can't remember his name. That's me. Can't remember his name. That's Charlie Vaughan. Charlie Vaughan, centre forward.
Yeah. Would this have been the room to the right as you come out of the dressing rooms?
Yes.
Which had a bar in it as well,
Yes,
didn't it?
yeah.
Which is we've got in those photographs there.
Yes, that's what that was. Yeah.
Nice.
That's my favourite photo of Charlton. That's
Who's on there?
Squib Hammond, that is, and Riley Cullen. Squib Hammond, his brother was the groundsman for a few years. Bill Hammond.
Oh, Bill Hammond, yes. He was until the end, wasn't he? He was there.
Well, he might well have been.
He lives, I think he still lives down Blackwall Lane. There's him down there.
Yeah, I'll pick out that lot.
Funny you should have this photograph. I think I've got this photograph. More or less certain. I've got one. Yeah.
Well, you probably have.
I've got some. I've brought a few down with me, but I've got the whole load in exhibitions at the moment.
Well, I'd
unfortunately,
be
someone.
interested. You don't want to spend all your time looking at mine. You might have a look at something you've got.
Well, I don't know if it'll
That's
be.
when I was 18. And that's when I was 34. Last season at Margate. Last year at Margate.
Well, would you have any objections to me possibly copying some of these photographs?
No.
If I was to, I'd bring down a copy stand and a camera.
Well, do you feel it's worth another trip down to see me? Like,
Well,
as and when you feel like it? Because
Yes, I
you're
mean,
more than
in
welcome.
a few weeks' time. I think I'm quite busy for the next couple of weeks, but so we've still got some time left now anyway. But
I mean, you've got a feel on what I've got, haven't you?
Yes.
Or you will have a
Yes.
feel of what I've got.
yes.
You don't want any of the... I'm hoping you've got the
So
one.
I'm particularly interested in pictures of crowd scenes because
Yes,
I've got plenty of team lineups.
you have, yes.
Well, I mean, there are a few more that I need, and action shots, but it's nice to actually have the crowd involved,
Yes.
crowd there as well. Got a lovely one. I haven't got it here, unfortunately. The boys being passed over the people's heads
Yeah,
down to the front, so to sit on the touchline in the 30s.
yeah. You see, there's another one of me.
I haven't got this one.
I haven't got it. I was hoping I had it. It's a very interesting
So
one.
the shirt's unbuttoned all the way down the front.
No, only halfway.
Just
Not right out. No. In getting these Where Are They Now, Cliff Holton, I never knew he played for Charlton.
His name hasn't been mentioned.
Cliff Holton,
Hasn't been mentioned. Did he play for them for very long?
I think so. Cliff Holton, he used to be with Arsenal. He could only had a few seasons. Well, these are all the same one, I think. Or are they? Perhaps they're not. Perhaps they. No, they're not.
different
They have
games.
the same for each one.
The Charlton programme these days is terrible.
Is it?
I mean, there's hardly anything in it at all.
Oh, it's Stuart Leary.
Oh yeah.
Cricket with Ken. Whenever I used to go cricket now and again, well, quite a bit really, I suppose, throughout the season. And I always made a point of going to see if I went to Kent, although I'm an Essex supporter. I always made a point of having a few words with Stuart.
Is he still connected with them now?
No, he's at he lives in South Africa now.
He's gone back.
It's Sailor Brown. Never gave me a...
He's up in Galston, isn't he?
Yeah.
What would have been the sort of training would you have gone through at Charlton? Would have been a typical week for you as regards training?
Well, typical week, when I was full-time, of course.
Yeah.
The pre-season training was a run round the, because I had two goes at that, 2 years at that. You used to have a good run, a couple of hours run to build up to start the season.
Yeah.
Lovely walk afterwards, a couple of days, and gradually got into it. And then it was exercises and sprinting, bit of everything. Then it gradually built up into the games, having trial games. And I love...
Family go off. They've gone to Turkey next door.
Have they?
His mum's gone, and her niece, as well as Keith and Vanessa and the boys.
They were all here, were they? They all left from here.
That's fine. Well, I've just been talking to her mum's there. Right, just going to make some
Who's at the bell?
sandwiches. Hun?
Who was at the door? Was that Vanessa?
That was
again?
Vanessa, giving me the flight number and everything.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that she knows that you, if Mum wants to know about it, you could follow it up for her.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough, yeah. Oh, the one for coming home mainly, wasn't it? Because they had trouble last time they went away, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
A bit worried, yeah.
Well, anyway, it's all there.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to make some sandwiches.
Well done.
Andy,
Lovely.
what would you like in your sandwiches? Ham, or you can have tuna fish, or you can have... Do you like ham?
Anything.
Anything?
As it comes.
Do you like ham? Do you
Yes.
like mustard in
Oh,
ham?
I love
sandwich?
mustard, yes.
Hot stuff he is. Yes. Well, that's the gist of that. Oh, there was
And what would they have kept you? How would they have kept you busy in the summer?
Well, had a holiday.
Yeah. How long would you have been able to go off for?
Well, a bit longer than what we have now, I suppose, really. About 3 months, 2 or 3 months, I suppose.
And the club wouldn't call you in at all during that time?
Oh, no. Just used to have a check arrive. Every... forget when it was now. But, again, when I was working, it wasn't quite so easy because I can remember when I was working. We only used to get 2 or 3 weeks holiday from work then, 2 weeks probably. And one of those weeks, I always made a point of going up to the valley for a week to start the pre-season training. But failing that, I used to train at Gillingham 2 nights a week right through the whole season. And I used to go off running. I lived in Lower Gillingham then, not here. And I used to have a regular old run right down Lower towards Raynham and that. And I did my own training, you know. But the week before the cup final, I did it all down at Margate. No, not the week before the cup final. The week prior to that, I think. Yeah, so long ago I can't quite remember. But I know some of the pre-season of the cup final training before I did it down the end of our road on Margate Seafront, or at Westbrook there, where I lived.
And how were your employers if you had to play an afternoon match, a week match?
Pretty good. They gave me the week off before. I got the week off before the cup final. I didn't have that week off. But no, well, I mean, there wasn't so many midweek games then as what there are now. Although we did have midweek games leading up to the cup final. That was a home and away thing. First one.
That's right, the only one,
that season. Yeah, the only one as well, I think.
And Charlton actually lost a game in the process, didn't they?
Yeah, we lost one. Was it Fulham, wasn't it? Was it Fulham? When Cliff Lloyd, who's...
Yeah, it was Fulham. Fulham in the third round.
Cliff Lloyd broke his leg in collision with Don Welsh. Cliff Lloyd, the secretary of the FA for a few, secretary of the Players Union for quite a long while, Cliff Lloyd was.
Yeah.
And he broke his leg in that game.
Well, Don Welsh didn't feel anything.
Tough guy was Don. No, I'm sorry, I wonder where that photo is. There was a very nice photo of when we opened the Jimmy Seed stand. They're top nose, you know, well-known people there. Matt Busby was there. I played against Matt Busby, and Bill Shankly and all those. Stan Cullis.
So all the time that you were with Charlton as an amateur, would they have paid you anything? I mean, but they would have paid you expenses.
Oh, got expenses, yes.
Yeah.
Probably got a couple of quid or something like that, you know. No, you never got anything at Charlton that you weren't entitled to, I can assure you. But money never come into it then. Well, there wasn't much of it about, but you go with the tide, don't you?
Yeah, yes, I suppose
But,
so. And who would have been sort of the real jokers in the team, apart from, say, Kirsten Polly, who made you laugh all that time, but who are the real characters?
I honestly couldn't tell you.
Tommy Brown, did you play with him?
Who?
Tommy Brown.
Not Tommy Brown, no.
Sailor Brown.
Oh, yeah, he's my inside right.
Yeah. Didn't he have a nickname of Chimpy amongst some of the players?
Sailor.
Yeah.
And Chimp. Yeah. Sailor Brown. Well, you can see in that photo of what name our bandy is, one at Villa Park. Right, it's going back a bit, isn't it? It just shows you how many we've got, doesn't it? Was that in the folder, was it?
It might be, I'm not sure.
Yeah, there you are. You can almost visualise, I can visualise him, you see, you can almost see
his gait there.
His gait there as a jaunty. Yeah. And there's Don Welsh. There must be Bert Turner, I think. I was in the clear there all right, wasn't I?
Yeah. Did you get there then?
Don't remember now. May have been the time. I know I cut it back from, well, not back, cross goal from the byline actually, and we scored our first goal from that.
And how would you have travelled to away matches? Would it depend where they were, how close they were?
Yeah.
Travelled.
Coach, obviously, Lewis's coach. Most of the time I played for Charlton was wartime, you see, wartime football, and we never played north.
No,
north of Birmingham. It was split into north and south, and I mean it comes on the box even now, and nearly every ground south of Birmingham I've played on, which is interesting. But when it was time to go up, I never played on either of the Manchester grounds, either of the Sheffield grounds, either of the Nottingham grounds. I played at Leicester. We played at Preston on our way to the cup final. Played at Blackpool. Played against Stanley Matthews.
Did you? How did you get on against him?
Always got dropped the following game because he had such a good game, I expect. Always got dropped. Well, not always, but yeah, Stanley, he had some great games against us, Stanley Matthews. So I played at Blackpool. But there's not many grounds I can remember north of Birmingham that I ever played on. No,
it would have been
so travelling, but I vividly remember the Preston game on the way to the cup final. I was working, all the lads went up on the Thursday or the Friday, and I had to get a night train up.
You worked all day?
I worked all day right up till Friday afternoon. And I left Friday evening from Euston on my own. They couldn't get me a sleeper. I don't know whether they had sleepers then. And I can always remember going through Stafford, and I looked out the window and the track was underwater. They'd had a lot of rain, hell of a lot of rain. And we were the last train, I think, that day that got through, or that evening, or that night, that got through Stafford. And I arrived at the hotel, about 5 o'clock in the morning, I think, and they sent me off to bed. I told me to go straight to bed. To sleep. Anyhow, I played in the game.
Again that afternoon.
Played that afternoon. That was what happened. A bit different now, isn't it? Yes.
And the combination, I mean, how many matches have you played in a season?
The combination? Nearly all of them.
How many would there have
50 odd.
50 odd. Yeah. And I presume there was some kind of award or cup for the champions of the combination league.
Yeah,